My thing, okay? Oh,
Yeah, it's good.
I don't let my kid know.
It's time to breathe again. On the latest Breath of Fresh Air webcast on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. So you see Patrick with me. I am Charles, and we will get to the sporting events in a moment. But before we do, I have to bring up some sad news. If you haven't heard uh, from any alerts, what's going on down here in the state of Texas, in Uvalde, Texas. So that's about 80 miles west of San Antonio. There was a mass shooting, a school shooting at an elementary school. 14 kids and a teacher are dead, according to Governor Greg Abbott and law enforcement over there in Uvalde. But it's another mass shooting, Patrick, that has happened in our country. Uh, it's beyond sad. Just, I mean, I think we've heard enough people say thoughts and prayers, but the thoughts and prayers, honestly, that's not enough anymore. It's just really
We need
sad.
more
It's
for our
latest.
society, bro.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunately it's the latest of school shootings. Apparently the shooter was an 18-year-old teenager. We don't know whatever the motive is, like whatever. I'm not really worried about any type of motive. I'm just sad for those kids, for those families, for those parents who got that call and they lost their kid. They lost their kid. And this is an elementary school. So, the school, it was, let me see, let me make sure. Yeah, Robb Elementary School is the name of the school in Uvalde, Texas. And it said 14 kids and a teacher are gone. And the school had second, third, and fourth graders going in there. So we're talking about kids ranging from 8 to 10 years old. And they're gone. Those 14 kids are gone. And the teacher is gone. And I guess, law enforcement, they took out the gunman, which again, I am not worried about the gunman. I care less. Uh, I could just care less about him. Screw him. But um, I don't know, Patrick. It's just the latest of just tragedies that we have to deal with again, and now it's another mourning and grieving and healing process we have to go through.
Uh, like you said, dude. Like you said, the hell with the shooter, man. What a punk. You know what I'm saying? And and unfortunately, he has parents too. Well, fortunately, he has parents. Don't get me wrong, and they have to deal with their grieving process. And sorry to the shooter's parents. But unfortunately, I kind of feel you probably should have done better parenting if this is what you had to do. Now, I will admit he probably has had some problems. Obviously, he has had something happen to him in his life, whether that be bullying or um, maybe his parents are beating him. I don't know. I don't know at this point. It doesn't give him the right to go out and do what he did. And unfortunately, he killed 14 kids that are 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. Come
Yep.
on, dude. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yep.
No,
14 students and one teacher.
and don't get me wrong, my thoughts go out to those families. My thoughts, truly. But we're past this part now. We're past this part. What are we doing as a society that we can start remedying this? And I'm sorry, gun control doesn't remedy the problem. Whatever people say, gun control does not remedy the problem. People still get their guns. We're still in America. You still deserve your right to bear arms. There has to be something where we can prevent these kids getting hands on guns without proper training or proper education on what these guns do. This is not a gun problem. Truthfully, this is not a gun problem at all. This is a people problem. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. And people wouldn't kill people if they didn't have guns. No, we got knives, we got pickaxes, we got everything that you need to kill somebody. Unfortunately, guns are just making it easier. But this is not a gun problem. This is a society problem, and we need to start looking ourselves in the mirror and figuring out what this issue is. This is ridiculous.
There's a lot of hate, a lot of
Uncalled for hate.
yeah.
No reason. No reason to hate kids. No reason to hate 7, 8, and 9-year-old kids. Come on. No.
Yeah, it's and then mental health. Yes, to check the guy's mentals, whatever is going on there. I mean, whatever drove him to do this. There's no telling. I mean, everything that's going on with social media and the access you have to a lot of these things, there's a lot of issues that need to be sorted out. But I mean, this is ridiculous, man. I mean, I just the main thing, Patrick, is this. I mean, we always say sports is part of life. It's not life itself. And when you have real life tragic events like this happen, it needs to be acknowledged, and it just drives the point home more that when you hear people complain about somebody missing a shot or throwing an interception or striking out at the plate, and you hear about some of these people getting death threats because they failed, which that's another issue on what are these people thinking. They have nothing else better to do than to threaten somebody who struck out in a game. Give me a break. But
I mean, come on. Like, did you see what Nick Chubb did to me last year?
but yeah, I mean, look, it's those things that's trivial compared to this. And,
exactly.
And I think I just wanted to acknowledge what is happening here is a tragedy, and we are all grieving. And also, this is kind of the reason why we do come to sports, because it's a way to heal. It's a way to get away from the suckage called life sometimes. Life doesn't suck all the time, but man, you have some times where it is awful. And this is one of those moments, particularly for those parents of those kids and the family of that teacher, who were just, from everything we know about this right now, they're just going about their lives, just doing their daily thing. I mean, it's like the last week of school in some of these places.
Summer was right around the corner, man.
Yeah.
Right around the corner. Vacations right around the corner. Family, being able to spend time with your family, and those kids don't even get the opportunity to experience that. And that's a damn shame. It's a damn shame.
So to sum it up, yeah, our hearts go to the people there in Uvalde, Texas, and all we can do. I know you keep on saying thoughts and prayers, but it's time for action. It's time for something to be done about this. Enough is enough. And hopefully, in some way, shape, or form, we can start to come together and root out all this hate and just the division that's going on in our society today. I don't necessarily know how.
Well, you know what?
Go ahead.
I have a question for you, Charles. I have a question for you, man. At what point in our life do we just start rooting for each other?
Well, Patrick,
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to get to that time in our lifetime. I'm very optimistic we can. I'm hopeful we can, but dude, we're so divided in stuff these days. It's a long way off, and so all we can do is go about our daily business, and hopefully we can root for each other, or at the very least, Patrick, look out for each other. We might not like each other, or we might not get along with each other, but at least respect.
There should be a point of toleration. Yeah, exactly. I can tell you right now, man. From my point of view, I can tell you this. In my younger years, you know this about me. I always told you, man, I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna put everybody out of business. Remember those? Remember those days?
Yep.
Nowadays, I don't want to put anybody out of business. To me, my wife says it. My wife says it the best, and it's an old saying. Many people have probably heard them, but a rising tide floats all ships. You know what I mean? That's where we need to be in a society, raising everybody up, not disheartening people or criticizing people or making mental breakdowns to where kids at 18 years old feel like no other option than to go into a school, take out as many people as he can for himself. You know what I mean? Well, I can tell you, man, I can tell you right now, all the people that watch this show right here, these two, we root for everybody. I don't care your skin color. I don't care if you're male, female, whatever you hell, whatever you want to associate yourself as, you go do you. And I can tell you right now, we're rooting for you. Pull it off. Go and do everything that your heart desires and live the life that you deserve, because that's what it's about.
Yeah, so well, Patrick, we're gonna try to make the difficult transition here, but before I do, again, man, our hearts are with those families down there, and hopefully we can come to a time to where we do get along and we're not trying to go out here harming each other for problems that there is not their fault. You know, like I mean, them kids had nothing to do with whatever he was going through. You know, so
Yep.
hopefully, hopefully we can get to a point where we can eradicate all these senseless mass shootings and just be at a place of harmony. So with that, let's make that difficult transition.
Good
Uh,
luck on that transition, bro.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely gonna be tough, but we're gonna try. And I guess we'll start with this topic that came out of baseball over the weekend. So, I want to kind of get your thoughts on this one, just for a little bit of the background that's going on. So, the Chicago White Sox and New York Yankees, they had a series over the weekend in Yankee Stadium. Uh, Josh Donaldson, who is with the Yankees now, apparently was calling Tim Anderson. I think what is he? He's the shortstop for the White Sox, I believe. Um, yeah. So
Shortstop.
yeah.
Well,
So
middle infield because he will jump from second short.
he'll go to second base every now and again. I mean, good young player. I mean, Tim Anderson's a real good
Yeah.
player. But
Oh
here's
yeah. Phenomenal player.
yeah, but here's the thing. So I guess there was some chirping going on, and apparently Josh Donaldson called Tim Anderson Jackie, as in Jackie Robinson, and it kind of rubbed Tim Anderson the wrong way. And then there's some chirping. There was some benches got cleared, no punches were thrown or anything like that. But Tim Anderson, so for a little bit of background, Tim Anderson did an interview, I think back in 2019, where he was looking at himself as kind of like a Jackie Robinson figure, wanting to bring fun back. You know how it is with baseball and the unwritten rules, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of made that comparison. Like, I feel like I'm going to be the next Jackie Robinson. Very lofty goals. And, just one of those things. But I mean, if you're going to aim high, then aim high. I get you.
Absolutely.
Now, with that being said, Patrick, it's hard being Jackie Robinson. I mean, this dude literally broke barriers. Like,
Oh yeah.
color barriers.
You ain't breaking these barriers anymore.
Yeah. So I mean, Jackie, when we talk about one of one, that's Jackie Robinson. He is one of one.
One
With
of one, and he is being a baseball fan, hands down. This is one of my favorite baseball players of all time.
yeah, I mean, just everything that he stood for, that he went through to have people of minorities to have opportunities to get out there and play this sport. I mean, it's a huge deal. Like one of the most historic things that's been done. Now, to the two people who are involved. So you got Tim Anderson going there, Josh Donaldson. We know Josh Donaldson can kind of be a knucklehead sometimes, and he'll say some things that can rub people the wrong way. Now, I would have to see a little bit more context before I go and say Josh Donaldson is racist for calling Tim Anderson Jackie. I can understand from a standpoint of, all right, he's trying to say this, kind of pushing on him, needling on him. I would have to see what more was said. If Josh Donaldson is going to come and say, oh, well, this was based off of what he did in the interview in 2019. We have joked about this before. So I don't know what has changed since then. I would have to see more to call him a racist, but I would also like to see more on what was said before Tim Anderson said, all right, you're getting on my nerves now. So, I mean, that's where I'm at. And the reason why I point that out, Patrick, is because you know how people are like, oh, yeah, he's just being racist. Nah, I wouldn't necessarily go that far yet in that case. Now, Josh Donaldson has been sometimes unaware, misinformed about some of the stuff that he says. But
on Twitter.
Yeah. But I'm not going to go that far yet. And with Tim Anderson, look, this is society these days. Unfortunately, when you say something like wanting to be the next Jackie Robinson, why it probably should be looked at as some sort of an inspiration. Some people aren't going to look at it that way. They're going to look at that as the next joke. There ain't no way you could be the next Jackie Robinson, blah, blah. And that's just society these days. So I guess, yeah, I guess that, I mean, what's your overarching thoughts of this, like how that situation played out to the point where they almost brawled in Yankee Stadium? I mean, that's where I'm at with it. I mean, I would just have to see more of it, and I don't know. I think both of them can move on from this, and it's not.
Yeah, I don't see what the problem is. I mean, you make a comment back 3 years ago that you were wanting to be the next Jackie Robinson. Okay, so somebody comes in and says, "Hey, Jackie." Okay, whatever, bro. Come on, you made the comment first. Get over it. That's the way I kind of see it. And to go as far as it's him being a racist, okay, well, this is a black man saying he's going to be like a black man. I don't see how that's racist unless Tim Anderson is going doing whiteface, saying I'm going to be the next Jackie. It's going way too far with the racism. It's going way too far. So he made a comment that he wanted to be the next Jackie Robinson. To me, that's great expectations. Everybody says shoot for the stars, and if you can't hit the stars, land in the sky or on the clouds or whatever it is. Hey, bro, there ain't nothing wrong with that. Look, you're not going to be the one that breaks down the barriers, but you can go and steal the hell out of some bases. Go and do that.
And you can make and you can make your own impact, whatever that impact is. I mean, if you want to try to help bring fun back or whatever the case, then yeah, I mean, you could do that too. But
yeah, go and do it. But I mean, you said it right. Josh Donaldson, he has a tendency to say stuff that he does not need to be saying. He needs to keep his mouth shut a lot of times. But to me, I don't think this was a misinformed comment. I don't think it was a racist comment. I think it was just a comment saying, hey, if Tim Anderson is wanting to bring fun back into baseball, I absolutely agree. It is getting to be dry, very dry. You know what I'm saying? So if he's wanting to bring fun in, why not take Josh Donaldson's comment and make fun of it? Make fun out of that. Because that's what Jackie Robinson was doing.
Yeah, you just play. You just play. Just play the game.
Yeah. So what? He stole 15 home plates. Okay, cool. Tim, go and do that. Who cares what Josh Donaldson says? Who cares what anybody else thinks? Stop worrying about it. This is where I always get the problem in. Why do people worry about everybody else instead of themselves? Tim, worry about yourself. And if you want to go be Jackie Robinson, bro, you go be Jackie Robinson. Or make that impact that he is going to be. Don't worry about what everybody else says. Don't worry about it. Laugh, joke, have fun. Bring the game to life again. Because somebody needs to. Don't worry about what Josh says. It's not a racist remark. I don't think there was anything meant to it, except for, hey, maybe Josh was just trying to help him make light of the situation. I don't know. But my thing is, Tim, stop worrying about everybody else and worry about you and go do you and leave it at that.
And there's so many factors in that too, Patrick. That what was there, because was there a tone? Like, what did Josh Donaldson say other things? Like, was there some more chippiness back and forth going both ways? Yeah, I mean that's the stuff we don't really know. And
Don't really care
until well, here's the thing: if it did come out that he has said some racist things, now
we have a different conversation.
Yeah. So, but right now we don't know that, and if that's what was said to Tim Anderson, just being called Jackie, no, I'm not going to call Josh Donaldson a racist off of calling him Jackie. I'm not going to do that. I got to hear more.
Yeah,
you can come from there. I'm not going to do that. I said he's been a knucklehead. We know Josh Donaldson can say some off the wall stuff, but
this is not one of those moments.
Yeah, I'm not going there. Just not. No. So they continue to play. Hey, the White Sox. Hey, this is what you do. You go ahead and, like you said, Patrick, you go and you play. You hit a homer, which is what Tim Anderson did during the doubleheader on Sunday, where the White Sox swept the Yankees. And
then that's where he should have rounded and looked at Josh Donaldson in the outfield and meant, like, yeah, Jackie, did you see that?
Yeah.
Poke fun back, and even
you can poke fun back.
To me, just poke fun back, and then don't worry about all the other stuff. Now, if he did say some racist stuff, we cross that then. But until I hear more about the story, I don't worry about anybody else. Hey, did you hear what Josh Donaldson said to Tim? No, don't care. Are they playing baseball? Yeah. Then let's worry about that part. You know what I mean? I really, you know what I've told you, I try to keep myself out of the negativity. I just wish people would just lift each other up. And if this is what Josh Donaldson has to do to help him elevate him to bringing fun back to baseball, hey, Tim, take it, bro. He's handing you a free pass to do that. Just do it. What are you doing?
Yep. So as Patrick gets at his son, which one is that? Which one is in there?
Anyway, that's how I feel. Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, which son is in there?
Oh, it's Brantley.
Oh, what's up, Brantley?
I was fixing to be 10-year-old.
What's going on, Brantley? You're live, by the way.
He's already gone. He was trying to be real quiet.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't seeing too, and then I see all. Come on, man.
Well, Patrick, let's move on. So, I mean, I guess we're in agreement with the Josh Donaldson, Tim Anderson thing. And look, for some more context, I think they're done playing each other for this season. The Yankees have already come to Chicago to play the White Sox, and this was the last series that they had with each other, I think, for the year. So,
wow, that was quick.
You move on, huh?
That was quick. We only had 7 games together.
Yeah, so the scheduling, you know how that scheduling goes, because you're playing your division opponents like 18 to 19 times each.
Yeah,
and then you have your, I guess, 6 or 7 games with the other teams from the leagues, and then you have an interleague. Yeah, then you have an interleague series. So so I think the White Sox and Yankees are done playing. If not, then hey, my bad, and I will say I'm wrong, but I think they're done. Let's go to this one, Patrick. So hey, college football, you know how we've been kind of diving into this.
It's getting close.
Yeah, so you know how we've been diving into the name, image, and likeness stuff and the transfer portal. Well, last week it took another turn. And now you have SEC coaches going back and forth at each other. Nick Saban, of course, the coach at Alabama.
Oh, this. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
So of course he got loose at I guess this was I don't know, with Birmingham business owners and stuff, basically saying A&M pay for their players. Jackson State, who of course got the #1 recruit in the class, Travis Hunter, to come down there. And of course we know Deion Sanders is the head coach down there. So I personally, all right. So before I get on to the rest, I think Deion Sanders was actually collateral here. I think Nick Saban was more coming at Texas A&M than at Jackson State, but Jackson State was in there because of what we've been talking about, really. Name, image, and likeness, transfer portal, all the stuff that is part of the ever-changing and fluid landscape of college sports now.
no,
But
it's not done changing either.
No, not at all. It's there's
started.
a lot more tidal waves coming. But of course, with him coming at A&M, with Saban coming at A&M, talking about A&M paid for all their players to come there, contributing to the #1 recruiting class. You know, Jimbo Fisher was not going to let that slide. He basically called out Nick Saban's character, saying this dude has and I'm paraphrasing here, but he has a whole bunch of skeletons in the closet. He ain't God like everybody puts him out there to be. And he's just been doubling down, just basically on the attack the whole time. Now, Patrick, really, this is two old dudes, two old rich dudes just going back and forth. And I just think it's part of that evolving landscape, Patrick. The coaches don't have the control anymore. Once name, image, and likeness started entering the equation, on top of the transfer portal, it's wild, wild west, as we've always said about this. And it's driving a lot of these coaches crazy. Now, on the context, and then I'll shut up for a minute because I've been going on and on. but
this is the point in any show.
You don't know, right?
I mean, but you know what? I'm enjoying it because it's like whatever like the things that you're saying. I really don't have any rebuttal on it because you're covering everything, and I'm like, cool. I'll enjoy my landscape right here, this beautiful sky that I am in Atlanta. So go ahead.
But I appreciate it, Patrick. But this is a part of, I think maybe it's frustration coming from Nick Saban, but what I do think also, this is Nick Saban. Publicly, he's going to complain. Privately, he's adjusting. And the adjusting period is why Nick Saban is who he is. It's why they have been able to win 6 national championships in Alabama, because of his ability to adapt to times. Remember the whole Chip Kelly thing? When he was complaining about Chip Kelly and the spread offenses, the fast-paced offenses that Chip Kelly was running in Oregon, Nick Saban had a big gripe about that. But what did he start doing? Implementing things with the spread offense and fast-paced offense.
He made a fast-paced defense.
Exactly. And so I personally, I think
help from Kirby Smart, but absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Defense coordinator there, of course, in Bama before he became the head coach of your beloved Georgia Bulldogs. But I look personally, man. Now, Patrick, I did a shorty on this, and the main thing that I pointed out with the shorty is, hey, I'm for all of it. Normally, I'm not the petty dude, but I'm all about the pettiness here. I understand where Nick Saban was coming from, and I was all about Jimbo Fisher saying he ain't God. I'm all about it. Let's go.
Hey, all they're doing is chirping back and forth. There ain't nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with good, healthy competition. But this is the thing that both of those coaches have to understand. So what if Jimbo is paying for his recruiting class? Who says you can't now? That's the problem. That's the problem that people are having is because these higher end teams like Texas A&M, Texas. Well, let's just say all the teams in Texas will probably have more going to their football program than any state out
Yeah,
of the
the
United States
resources are
because
ridiculous in this
we
state.
are, excuse me, you, it being in Texas, y'all produce football players. Period. So who cares if the coaches were all about this NIL the way they were at the beginning? Hey, this is what you voted in. Why are you complaining now? Made your bed, sleep in it. It's just that simple. Now, we have said it many times. Many times we have said it. They need to take this and they need to pull it in, put it in a controlled environment, and start building on it. But right now, if he wants to dish out, what did they say that one program in Texas, the Texas Longhorns, produced 65 to 70% of what the Big 12, sorry, Big 12 produced last year.
Yeah. Oh, Texas and Oklahoma are. And
So
Texas and Oklahoma are the heavy hitters in the Big 12. And that's why it's such a blow for them to come over to the SEC to the point where
Oklahoma's not as big of a heavy hitter as many will claim they are. Not when off the stuff I was reading. Texas is bringing home all of it. So
yeah.
hey, if Texas A&M is saying we will give you money, hey, you just mentioned it last. You just mentioned it last week on last week's show. The kid that's a running back got a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, whichever one it was.
Bijan Robinson. Yep.
Yeah.
The NIL deal with the Lamborghini dealership in Austin.
So he gets a Lamborghini, and people are mad because of what? Because this is what they voted in. Look, NCAA screwed themselves. The coaches are mad because they lost control, and you can't control it. So what are you going to do? How are you going to fix it? That's the question. How are you going to fix it? Because all the stuff that Jimbo Fisher is doing, he is doing it. It's legal. Nobody said he can't do it.
So Patrick, all right. So on that surface, so let's take that comment that Nick Saban said.
Okay.
A&M paid their players to come there. All right. So let's take that comment and dissect it a little bit more. Because if Saban is saying that, what that entails is Texas A&M is directly giving these recruits money to come to their school.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Boosters, car dealerships, restaurants, whatever. Because they're probably tied in with A&M in some way, shape, or form. And look, I mean, it's college football. We know who's being recruited. I mean, we know the top players that are out there. It's, if you don't, just Google it, and there is many charts that tells you who is the number highest rated quarterback
position.
Yes.
Who's a 5-star? Who's a 4.9? Who's a 4.8? And they break it down for you. And all you have to do is literally put this in your Google search. Top rated football. That's it. College. We'll say top rated college football players. That's it. Put it in. And you will get so much data that your head will be spinning off of the data that you get.
Yeah, and so with that, all these colleges. So of course, with A&M, they're in College Station. So to give the people a background of where College Station is, if you don't know, College Station is inside what they call the Texas Triangle here, or the Urban Triangle. The triangle in Texas consists of Dallas-Fort Worth up north, Houston over here to the east, and then San Antonio over to the south, or to the southwest of the triangle. Mm-hmm. There are about 22 to 23 million people who live in this triangle. So within the triangle. Oh, and by the way, Austin is in that triangle too, the state capital. So if you have a restaurant or somebody giving you an NIL deal, and you can put this commercial out to all these people.
You just reach 25 million people.
Yeah, this is between 20 and 25 million people who live.
Like
yeah, exactly. Who live within the urban triangle or the Texas triangle. But if these boosters or restaurants or car dealerships are throwing out NIL deals to these players, that is different, Patrick, because those are independent entities. They're not employed by Texas A&M. So they're not employed by A&M. They're not paying for the players. Maybe indirectly so. Maybe there's some under the table deals that go. Hey, look, man. Look, go ahead, man. We know you boosting, so you go ahead and you use some of those millions to kind of shell out to these recruits. But that's independent from, because that booster is not employed at the school. He's just pitching in money. And so that's where Nick Saban has to be careful there. And so I can understand Jimbo Fisher being upset, but really with Nick Saban's comments, I just think he's lashing out at the process, and privately, he's going to adjust. Those boosters in Alabama are going to start stepping out. And look, Alabama is okay, all right? That's another thing. People are over here like, oh, Alabama, blah, blah. Man, they were number 2. They were number 2 in recruiting. They didn't drop to 30. They didn't drop to 40. It's not like
it wasn't a distant 2 either.
Yeah, right.
I mean, it was up there. I mean, I can't even. Who finished 3rd? Was it Ohio State? Ended up finishing 3rd.
It was either y'all or Ohio State.
I think we got
you 2 were number 4, or you.
I think we got 4
or 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then no, you know what?
And then it dropped.
No, we might have been We might have been in the top 5.
Say again.
Texas might have been in the top 5. I'd have to look at it again.
Yeah, 5 or 6. I know they were close, but I will tell you it was a drop off after 5.
Yeah.
Huge drop off, because the top 5 got almost every 5-star, every 5-star. Minus Florida.
Bama will be okay, dude.
I think Florida got 1.
Yeah, but Bama will be okay. Bama's not hurting. Give me a break. But it will make for interesting times when A&M visits Tuscaloosa and play Alabama. I think October 8th is the date. I will say this also, Patrick. A&M is trying to come. Jimbo Fisher is trying to build a power there in College Station, and he's made no qualms about it. He's coming for Bama. He's coming for Nick Saban. He's coming for that number 1 spot. I will say, for Bama's sake, if they're worried about anybody, it's Georgia. I'm sorry. I just don't think they're really. A&M's not quite on the radar. They're on the radar. But I'm not going to sit here and say that they're nowhere on the map. They're on the radar, but
after that number 1 recruiting, they're on the radar. I mean, they got some players, man. Now, how well Jimbo makes that mesh, that's a different story.
Right. You got to coach the talent.
And we saw there's only about 2, maybe 3 coaches out there that can coach the talent. Right? Can Jimbo coach that amount of talent? Because he didn't get that in Florida State. He did not get that talent in Florida State. He's got talent. All the talent.
So, he had some good recruiting classes in Florida State. Mm-hmm. And they did win a national championship there with Jameis Winston playing quarterback. So, look, it's not like Jimbo Fisher is terrible. I mean, Jimbo Fisher has been a good recruiter. He's been a good coach. But
this recruiting class is the best he's ever had.
Yeah, oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, by leaps and bounds. Can he coach that talent? That's the question. I don't care what Nick Saban says about him buying his players, and I don't care what the NIL does and da-da-da-da-da-da. Regardless of all of that situation, can that coach the talent? That is what it always boils down to. So we'll see. It's going to be an interesting game, especially with all this chirping that they've had. An interesting game. We'll definitely, we'll be watching it.
Oh, absolutely, of course. Well, Patrick, hey, let's
Rangers
move on.
Just went up 3-0.
Oh,
sorry, hockey.
No, it's all good. Yep, and we're gonna get to that. Let's hit up some of this the NBA playoffs first. They are, of course, in the conference finals. You have Golden State. They're about to play here in a little bit with the chance to sweep the Dallas Mavericks over here in the American Airlines Center right behind me. But yeah, they are actually in Dallas about to play game 4 here in about 25 minutes or so.
And as you can see, I don't have a foot in the game, so I got the Brave Stadium. What's up?
Truist Park, as they call it now.
And so many Truist banks going up. It's crazy.
but yeah, so you got Golden State with a chance to sweep, and then in the Eastern Conference Finals, you have the Miami Heat and Boston Celtics basically beating each other up, and that series is tied at 2. Game 5 will be Wednesday night back in Miami. So I mean, Patrick, I think it's pretty cut and dry with this. Golden State looks like they're just better.
Full control.
Yeah, they're just better than Dallas. And for Dallas, man, they're a year. I think they're probably a year early too. It'll be interesting to see between. You said 2 years early. Yeah, I know you said 2 years early.
I've been saying 2 years ever since the beginning of the season.
It'll be interesting to see between them and the Memphis Grizzlies who's going to continue to ascend, because we both think those teams are early in how far they've come along. So it'll be interesting to see which one of those teams continue to ascend. In the Eastern Conference, interesting series here. It's been blowouts, it's been injuries, it's been a little bit of everything. But I do think, and I mean, both of us did pick Boston to win the series. I do think if both teams are whole, Boston is better. And so it was going to take, we'll see what's up with Jimmy Butler. He's battling a knee issue. What they can get
with Tatum last night too.
Huh?
I think something happened with Tatum last night too.
Tatum, I think, is fine. He had a shoulder that he was worried about in, I think it was game 3. But I mean, he kind of played through it. Robert Williams, also their center back there, their rim protector back there.
That's who it was. He was hobbling last night. That's who it was. Williams was hobbling last night.
Yep, Robert Williams. He's kind of had a lingering knee issues too. Marcus Smart missed the game with his sprained ankle and foot injury, and you know, and Miami didn't have Tyler Hero. So I mean, it's been an uneven series.
Which I will tell you this: Miami missing Tyler Hero compared to Boston missing Marcus Smart, I think that's a bigger blow to Miami than Boston losing Marcus. I will say that.
That's kind of close, Patrick. You're talking about the defensive player of the year here.
I know, but you have to look at what Hero brings to that game, and I'm saying in comparison to what their team needs. If you don't have that scoring way Hero is scoring for Miami in this entire playoffs, you saw it last night. Hero was out, Marcus was out. What was that game?
So I'll give you that, because there are times where Miami does struggle to score, and when you do have defenses, both of these teams are very good defensively.
Oh, very good.
So when you have that happening, those two defenses kind of going back and forth with each other, you need as much a scoring punch as you can get. And yes, Hero, especially being the 6th man of the year, he provides a huge spark there. Marcus Smart, as good as he is defensively, you still have Jason Tatum, you still have Jaylen Brown, who can continue to keep
Al Horford.
Al Horford.
Williams.
Yeah, so you still have people who can keep the scoring going for Boston.
Did you see how many blocks was going on last night? Holy cow. Al Horford had 13 by the end of the third quarter.
Yes. It's just a physical series. And if you're going to have off and on Jimmy Butler and off and on Bam Adebayo as well, Bam Adebayo needs to step up huge.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
he needs to step up his hand more than any of them.
Yeah, he had a good game 3, but that dude, and I do not like to go here with contracts, but I'm gonna go there with this. As much as you are paying Bam Adebayo, he needs to be elite status or at least something close to it. At this moment, these moments right here, where you're in the Eastern Conference
Legendary.
Finals, and
Legendary.
he needs to be legit. I need 25 and 13 from Bam Adebayo at the minimum. That's what
I'm gonna go 25, 15, and 15.
Yeah.
Better give me 15 blocks too.
50 assists.
Well, no, I'm saying blocks. He don't need to get rid of the ball. He needs to have 25 points, 15 rebounds, and 15 blocks. He better give me a triple double. He needs legendary status. And then now, if he wants to give me 10 assists, cool. I'll give him a quadruple double all day long. The fact is that this man needs to step up. And 25 and 15, my personal opinion against this Boston Celtics team is not enough.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be enough. No. Well, Patrick. So before we get to the Stanley Cup playoffs, let's talk about Luka Doncic, of course.
Of course, good. I was actually fixing to ask if we can talk about him for a minute.
Yes. So we got him. Of course, he's this superstar player, 23 years old for the Mavs. And there's a lot of people who want to just put him on the upper echelon of the players in the league. For me personally, I'm not ready to put him there yet. And I'm going to go, so just so everybody knows about the consistency. For the consistency we try to strive for on this show, I'm going to use the Trae Young argument for the Atlanta Hawks from last year. Because, of course, like we pointed out, Trae Young made it to the Eastern Conference Finals with the Atlanta Hawks. And people were wondering, oh, man, he's a ascending player, same thing. All the talk that you're hearing about Luka Doncic. But Trae Young has to get better defensively, first and foremost. And also, he has to be better moving without the ball. He's a ball-dominant player. Luka Doncic, probably more so, is a ball-dominant player. And he's going to have to get way better defensively. Like, he's non-existent defensively. Non-existent. And
Agreed. That was actually going to be the comment I was going to say. That man needs to figure out something with defense. Hell, throw something at him. I don't care. Throw your shoe at him. Stop him of some sort, man. They just blow right by him like he's setting steel.
So I heard a comparison the other day. Actually, they were talking about who's the best player left in the playoffs. The four people was Luka. It was Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, Jimmy Butler, and Steph Curry. Those were the four. Now, here's the thing with Steph Curry. Steph Curry is not a shutdown defender. I think he's underrated. He's a good defender, but
he still has to have help at the elbow.
Yes, absolutely.
He still has to have help at the elbow. He's too short. He's too short.
But there was a year where Steph Curry, he actually led the league in steals. So he does contribute to the defensive end. If Luka can do that, that is
what steals we're looking for? Please just give me one.
Yeah, just do something. And then also, Patrick, he has to move without the basketball. Now
he stands still, dude. I swear he uses all of his energy when he's bringing down the ball. Do you see what Wiggins was doing to him? Oh my God!
Yes.
Wiggins did not press anybody, but as soon as Luka got that ball, boy, he met him as.
Yes.
And where did he come from? It's about time.
And that's what I will say. It's about time. Because Andrew Wiggins, he was a number one draft choice. He was the number one overall draft choice back in 2014? Yeah, 2014.
Yeah,
number one draft,
15, something like that.
And we've been waiting for him to start to show signs of, hey, I can do this thing. And apparently he just needed to get in the right situation because he could come to Golden State. The culture is already set. You know you have Steph Curry. You know
And the
you
pressure's
have
not on him.
Klay Thompson. You know you have Draymond Green. So you don't have to be necessarily the man. You could come in there and do your thing. And now he is really good at doing his thing now with the Warriors. He's
Oh
found
God.
a home.
I remember when Golden State goes. I remember the conference at Golden State was like, "Yeah, we're bringing on Andrew Wiggins, but we are bringing him strictly for his defense." And then drop 27 in Game 3. I was like,
Dude is a scorer.
dude, he dropped 27, had like 8 or 9 steals, and I mean, he had a double double. I think he had 12 to 14 rebounds, 27 points, and was just balling. And then that dunk.
Oh yeah. He's a polished player now. Like we always knew with Andrew Wiggins, he had the raw talent. Like just a super raw talent who could jump out of the gym, but the polish wasn't there. Like the jump shot wasn't consistent. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was just a little bit of confidence issues, just like not really wanting to take the game over consistently. I think now that he's in that good situation, he got a good pedigree. The coaching is good in Golden State too. Now he can just kind of come in there and just play and do his thing, and he is excelling. I mean, between him and Jordan Poole and Kayvon Looney.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those dudes, they have a nucleus that they can build around even after Steph Curry. I mean, Steph Curry, he's in his mid-30s. Klay Thompson is 33, I believe. Draymond Green's around that same age. So those guys are starting to get a little bit long in the tooth. Still got good playing in them, don't get me wrong. But
absolutely.
But now you got a young nucleus. You can continue to build around those guys. And so Golden State has just done a good job with their depth and development of those players. And with that, going back to Dallas, real quick, they have a good nucleus building up there too. They have Jason Kidd, who we talked about has evolved as a coach.
Yeah.
They have the new GM there, Nico Harrison. So he was a former Nike executive, but now he's the general manager there. And it's going to be interesting to see what Dallas does. Now, granted, yes, we just said Luka Doncic, there's some things he needs to do before we put him up there in the upper echelon of players. Just like that. I mean, he's an offensively gifted player, but he needs to pick up some other aspects of his game. But it's also going to be interesting to see what Dallas does to upgrade the roster. And
that's what I was going to say. They do need to upgrade that roster because even with Luka on that court, you can tell he cannot do it all. I mean, yes, the man is. I mean, and you have to. People still fail to realize, that Luka was playing overseas at 16 years old professionally. You know what I mean? So he's still bringing that over here, and he doesn't realize. I think Luka hasn't realized yet. I think he's realizing it in this series and in the last series. He's got some defensive stuff to work on, and he is starting to realize it because you could see it on his face. You could see him going, "I should have had that, but I didn't." Wiggins is just way too fast for him. You know what I mean? And so I think Luka is starting to see it. I think that he's starting to see that, I'm a bulkier guy. I might need to thin up 10 to 12 pounds. I don't think he needs to take off a lot. I think he does need to take off a little bit to help him with his agility because he has no defense. Like you said, the man might as well just stand at 36 feet and just get the ball passed to him for a shot. That's it. Don't move that man. Don't move him. Just put him right there and let him shoot because that man is deadly from behind the arc. I mean, he's crazy good. But go on that one thing. That's my spiel on Luka. I just think he needs to get he got to get some defense. But your comment about the 4 best players that's left and that was Jason Tatum hands down.
I'm gonna say Steph Curry I think Steph Curry is the best. Now, I can understand where you would say Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum to me, so I would take him over Luka for sure. Because Jason, out of those players, so let's go Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, Ja Morant, and Luka. Give me Jason Tatum all day long because he is the most complete out of all of those dudes. That dude gets it done on the defensive end as well. He scraps defensively.
Yeah.
And to me, those are the players. Those are the players that you say are elite when they can consistently give it to you on both ends of the court. Luka's not there yet. Devin Booker's not there yet. Ja Morant is not there yet.
Yeah, he's getting there. Now, I will say this. The reason why I picked Tatum over Steph is really one big reason. Tatum gives me the hype that I like.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's the reason why I would take him. And truthfully, I mean, don't get me wrong. I completely see why you picked Steph Curry. I don't know how many times I ever say it on this show, but when a game changes the algorithm for you, oh no, you're good. There's a reason why you're good. You know what I mean? But there's just something about Tatum. That dude is for real, and I like his hype, and that is primarily the reason why I would take Tatum over Steph Curry. Now, don't get me wrong. If Tatum's off the board and we're in a different situation, I'll take Steph Curry all day long, dude. Those two players right there. I don't care anybody. Those two right there are almost the best players on the court. I cannot wait to see a Golden State Boston Celtics series.
Yeah, that would be that'd be good.
And Boston is battle tested just like Golden State is. I mean, look at what Boston has to go through to get to where they're at right now. You know what I mean?
So Patrick, hey man, before we get out of here, man, let's get on the Stanley Cup playoffs here. And you have the Rangers. I know you was talking about that game, so they are still up 3-0. And if they win, they will tie that series at 2 games apiece.
Yep.
And the winner of that will have the Tampa Bay Lightning because they swept
Florida.
They swept Florida. Florida was the best team in the league this year, and Tampa Bay ran through them. Man, Tampa Bay looks strong. I don't know what it is about them, but my goodness, I mean, they've won the last 2 Stanley Cups, and they look primed and ready to try to get this third one. So I mean, yeah, I don't care who wins between the Rangers and the Hurricanes. the Lightning are my pick. I don't care.
Yeah, they're good, and I mean, I think that it's a good series. I like watching this series. It's
absolutely.
a good series. Don't get me wrong. Is it the best series that I think is out there? No, I think that Edmonton and Calgary is the better series, and Edmonton is looking good. And
Connor McDavid doing his thing there, and I mean, that's a rivalry, huge rivalry right there in the province of Alberta, up there in Canada. So a little bit of a border war. Well, beyond a border war.
Hey, they're not traveling north and south right now. They're traveling east and west. It's different.
Yeah. And then Colorado. Looking
Colorado
against St. Louis.
They got what's that series? 3-1, I think.
3-1, yeah.
Yeah, 3-1. And I mean, it's going to be a good series. It's a good series. I mean, again, any team can win that series as well. I mean, even though you're down 3-1, don't count it. I mean, like hot goalie, they can come back through and be fine. But man, you're right. That Lightning team, I don't know what it is. When it comes playoff time, that Tampa Bay team is deadly.
They have cracked the code.
They have cracked the code. There is a hack in there. Somebody got a cheat code, and they are cheating code right and left, bro. Because they are nasty when they get to the playoffs, man.
Yes. So. Well, Patrick, man, I guess hour. Gosh, already went through. Well, we're gonna hop on out, man. Yeah, we're gonna hop on out, and that concludes this edition of the Breath of Fresh Air webcast. So y'all make sure y'all visit the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel. Smash that subscribe button and keep the lights coming on the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. Until next week, everybody take care. Have a good rest of the week, and just take care of y'all loved ones. Yeah, just make sure y'all hug them, protect them, communicate with them, and let all the petty stuff go, man, because you just never know what can happen from day to day. And I think, unfortunately, we had a really tragic reminder of that today. So just everybody take care of themselves, take care of yourself, take care of each other, look out for each other, and hopefully we can get to a point where we are actually looking out for each other. So until then, everybody take care, and we will talk to you next week.